Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about Etsy SEO, getting found on Etsy 101. So if you know nothing about getting found on Etsy, or you know a little bit and you just want to make sure you're understanding it all, this is for you. I sell products like calendars, mugs, greeting cards, stickers, but you can sell any product that you want that fits with Etsy's rules and use these principles. So let's dive into it. The problem I've noticed is that most artists pick keywords by guessing. Etsy has a real ranking system that many sellers ignore, and that's why nothing's selling or being found. So if you've had this problem before where you go to list something on Etsy, you're just throwing words out there, writing words in the keyword box, hoping they get you found, this is for you. We need more of a system to make this thing work. Etsy SEO is a system, not a guessing game. You can learn the signals, research real keywords, and fill every single field. Then we're going to refresh it based on the data that we get after we list our work. Raise your hand in the comments if you have ever just thrown some stuff up there on Etsy after you guessed about the keywords and then you're like, all right, it's not selling, I give up, close the shop. I've heard from so many people. I've done it myself. I'm not going to say I've never done it. So let's talk about the solution to that so we don't have to do any more guessing and we start using the real system that Etsy has already built for us. By the way, I'm Liz Kohler Brown. I'm a surface designer and hand letterer who loves helping people find their style and sell their work. Let's start by talking about how Etsy's system works. So we're all starting from working with the platform that we're already using rather than trying to make our own strategy fit into someone else's platform. Etsy uses signals from your keywords and listing data to decide where to put you in search. The signals include things like relevance, the quality of your listing, the recency, how recently you posted it, the shipping price, and the customer experience on your past sales. So you can kind of think about it as a point system. You've got to get all the different points. And when you're starting from zero, it is most important to focus on keywords and search because that's all you've got. If you've got no customer background, you've got no history on Etsy, you have got to be the best with keywords. First, let's talk about front loading. That means that the first 40 characters carry the most weight on your Etsy listing. Lead with the search phrase, not with your brand name or with a funky title. This is an artist thing, right? Artists often want to say something like Foggy Night Landscape by Susan Moore, when they should say landscape art print in California, Pacific Northwest. We really want to catch people who are typing things like Pacific Northwest, California, landscape California, things like that that normal people out there search. They're not searching for foggy night. They're searching for, I want a landscape from the state that I love or I live in. Also, we need to use titles for humans. Etsy now penalizes keyword soup, aka this sub word that I threw in there is just meant to draw in search engines. Natural phrases separated by commas beat keyword stuffed lists. Keyword stuffing was kind of something of the past, right? And once platforms caught on that people were doing that and it made their site look yucky, they're penalizing people for doing it. So pretty titles can still be SEO friendly. We're putting those most important words at the front and we're not trying to be fancy in our title. We're not trying to make people go on a mystical, magical ride with us. We're trying to explain what the product is in the words that your customer would type. We also need to use all tags. Use every tag and every character that they allow in the title and tag sections. These are the most important points. Tags should be multi-word phrases, long tail beats single words, and each tag is a different search. So let's do some examples here. I would never, ever tag my art with the word pink. I just would never do it. I would much rather put something that I know a human being is out there searching. And I'll tell you a funny example. I've always been monitoring my calendar keywords, what people are typing to find my calendars. And last year I did a big audit on what are the top things that people type to get my calendars. Do you want to guess what the number one was? Calendar for girlfriend. that people can't figure out what to get for their girlfriend, And there's guys out there who are like, what do I get for my girlfriend? And they're typing those words. You wouldn't normally think, oh, this is a calendar for girlfriend after you design the calendar, right? But that is what your customers are thinking. So we have to switch our brains from not being so self-centered to being customer-centered and think about what are the words that customer is typing in search. It's not easy to do, to literally put yourself in someone else's shoes, especially someone you don't know or you're not like them. So it takes a little bit of training and practice, but starting your word list as you make your product is the best way to do that. Fill it all in, every section that they give you. Color, occasion, material, style, holiday, recipient. It's all important, and Etsy is keeping track of what you do. These are free ranking tools that many artists just leave blank. I always say if you're going to sloppily list something on a platform, you might as well not do it, because you're just setting yourself up for the disappointment later that you'll feel when nothing happens with it, right? So take your time on all of these sections, put in every single section, and it makes a big difference. It's signaling to the platform, hey, I am a person who cares. I'm putting in the work. Now, can you put in the work for me? Also, specific is best. Wall art, I personally have found, is a graveyard. Wall art, posters, botanical prints gets you in front of real buyers. I would much rather be on a search page of 20 artists and a low search volume than to be on a page with thousands of artists with a really high search volume. I am fine with there only being like maybe 100 customers in the world who would ever search for me, but I'll be the only artist there when they do search for it, right? This is a strategy that helps people get found rather than trying to get in those big oceans. Try to get in those tiny ponds. Another important one is research, not instinct. You can use Etsy's search bar, the autocomplete, by just typing anything and the customers search for section and study your competitors. I would say before you list anything on Etsy, you should be an expert on everyone else who has done a similar listing on Etsy. You can't probably do every single listing, but do your best to hit all the top ones and understand what they're doing, what they're not doing, what their bad reviews say, what their good reviews say, so that you're an expert on that thing way before you list your item. Also, make sure to vary your tags. If 30 listings share 10 tags, you are competing against yourself. Each listing needs a unique phrase set. Even if you're listing the same product multiple times with different thumbnails, switch up your tags so you're showing up in a lot of different places. With my calendars, as I design new calendars, I always have the goal of hitting more search areas. I want to be there for the dog moms and the garden people and the interior designers and the botanical print lovers, all those people out there typing real words in search. I want to be there for them with my art. And so I'm always making it a goal to not only make new art that fills those niches that I'm not in yet, but also helps me use the same art in different categories. And one example is my home and seasons calendar, which contains things like home, pets, food, cooking, so I can put all of those related keywords in one item. And then when I list it multiple times with different thumbnails, I put different keywords with each one. I think the most important thing here is the buyer intent. Remember to think about real people typing real words and being super specific about what they want. Cat illustration is a little broad, but black cat sticker for laptop tells you exactly who's ready to buy. Also, there's no harm in redoing what works. Keep an eye on the tags that bring you paying customers. These should be used multiple times across other listings. And in some areas, you can just duplicate a listing and reuse a lot of the content. And tell me why all the platforms don't allow us to do this. I get so frustrated when I spend so much time on a listing and then you can't just press duplicate to do it again with a different color version or a different size. So hey, all the platforms out there, take a cue from Etsy that makes it so easy for us to reuse all of the research and work that we've already done. We also, of course, need to track what works. Check on your stats, especially the words that are bringing people to your shop. In your shop manager, go to shop traffic, Etsy search, scroll down to see the search terms, and that tells you what people type to get to you. I would recommend doing this every 30 days because you've got to check it to keep your data. It resets. So I would put something on the calendar like first of the month, mid-month, end of the month, something like that. So you do it every single month. This is important data that we don't want to lose. So you've got to make sure to have some kind of system where you grab that data periodically and then you can use it when you're ready to list new things. It's question time. This is a question on my video called, "Is print-on-demand quality really that bad?" And this person says, "This is great. Thanks, Liz. What do you think of Spoonflower? Some artists do really well apparently and have no issues with the site, while others meet constant website glitches and printer issues. What has been your experience? Is there a technique to avoid their printer issues?" This is a great question, and it's something people ask me about all the time. Like, is using a site like Spoonflower a good idea? Personally, I started on Spoonflower. I spent years building up my Spoonflower shop, and it still pays me every month, and I share about that on my channel. When it comes to printer issues, I think we'd need to dig in more to what you're saying. Are you saying customers are contacting you and telling you their work or their product didn't turn out well? If so, I would just send them to Spoonflower and say they will reprint it for you. If it didn't turn out right, they will reprint it for you. So maybe that's an issue of the customer contacting the wrong person. You know, they are a company, they have print issues like every company who prints things, but it is part of their process to fix that if there's a problem. So I would say if you're getting that query, just direct them to Spoonflower help and say, "I'm just the designer. I just make the art. I don't print the products." So I don't think you should worry about that. That's not your problem. You've got to go in your lane and think about your own designs. When you said site issues, I don't have site issues, but I can tell you that if you use an internet connection that's a little slow, it can take a long time to update things on Spoonflower. So if you could get somewhere with higher speed internet, that might help. I mean, it's doing a lot. It's making mock-ups. It's putting your art on so many different products, resizing it, all the data that it puts in there. It's processing a lot, so it takes a lot of internet bandwidth. So I hope you all enjoyed this deep dive into Etsy SEO. Ask questions in the comments if you have more. And I want you to know that I have a whole Etsy for Artists series in my membership, and you can watch it with a free trial that you can get right below this video. So if you're curious about my whole Etsy process, how I use print on demand to sell items on Etsy, I don't ship anything, and I sell things every single day, and some days I sell many things and it gets a little out of control. So go check out the Etsy for Artists series. You can watch it with a free trial right now. If you like this video, you might also like the Power of SEO for your art and my video on why your art isn't selling online. So if you're having trouble selling your art, that is the place to go.